Hi folks, in this video we're gonna make a video about certain aspect of nginx web server called a map. It will be based on this document, which I will link in the description as usual. Okay, let's start. The maps are defined at the HTTP block level. You have a HTTP block. Inside there's one or more servers, and inside the server there's one or more location. So the map should be outside of the server. Okay. All right. This is a example code. So basically, if the value of the variable to check equals check if variable matches me, only if that is true, then set the value of variable to set to variable matches check value. Okay, and otherwise set the value of variable to set to no match. Okay, so this is same as this if block in bash. Okay, so as I said, the variable to check, if the variable to check equals this value over here, then set the value of this, to this, that's here. Otherwise set the variable to otherwise set the variable to set equals to no match. Okay, and even use a switch statement. Okay, same thing here. So checking the value of variable to check, and if that equals check if variable matches me, only then you set the value of variable to set to variable matches check value. In all other cases, set the value of variable to set to no match. Okay. Here's another example. It's made a little complex by adding more conditions. Okay. So here, if the value of thing equals thing matches me, only then set the value of useful variable to thing matched 1. If thing is equal to no thing matches me, then set the value of useful variable to thing matched 2. In all other cases, set the value of useful variable to no match. Okay, so in here it's a little more complex because it had one more condition added to it. You can also use regular expressions. Okay, so here what you're doing is okay, so yeah, so it wants to detect if inside the URI there's a double /, either that or this it's an HTTP entity that resolves to a /. So you want to detect these two conditions. Okay, this is what's about. Okay, request URI here, it says includes the query string as well as the URI. Okay, what query string is so you got domain.com query equals to 100 or something like that, and I don't know, ID equals to ZZZ. Here, request URI includes the query string in addition to the URI. The query string in this case is this part. So everything out after the question mark sign. Okay, so let's have a look. So we know that the request URI includes the query string. So here, I'll just copy the whole thing. Okay, just get rid of everything. So here, this part, that just means case sensitive regular expression. So what comes after that is a pattern. This means the start of the string. This is a group, and this means you are setting the name of this capture group to be u. Okay, so whatever that is matched by this parentheses is given the name u, like a variable. Okay, and what is the pattern in the group? In the square brackets, this means inverse. Okay, so this and also this is a sorry, it's a bit messy. Okay, the plus sign means it's a quantifier. It means one or more. So this means not the question mark. So in effect, this whole thing means everything up to the question mark from the start of the string. Okay, so what that matches is, let me so it's this part. Okay, so as I said, this part matches everything up to the question mark. So what it is, it's the URI. Yeah, and this means the literal question mark, which is this one, and this group over here. This means don't capture this group. Okay, and then this means 0 or more characters. We are saying everything from the start of the string up to and not including the question mark, and then the question mark followed by 0 or more characters. And this is a quantifier for this group, right? It's saying everything after question mark is matched 0 or 1 time, so it's optional, but you don't really need this. Okay, you could also do like well, I guess you can just do this as well. Okay, but the important thing is you have captured and named the group as u. Okay, and here u is here. So what is u? It's the URI, right? What is the URI? URI is everything up to and excluding the question mark. So this is the URI. Okay, and it's given the name, variable name u. Okay, so what does that mean? If the request URI includes the query string, then extract the URI portion and extract the URI portion and name it variable name u, and assign that value to this variable called URI only. Okay, you think logically about it. If it was without a query string, then that condition will be forwarded to here. Okay, so in all other cases, we know that query string doesn't exist in the request URI, so you just pass the original value to this variable URI only. So in either case, it extracts the URI portion from request URI and set that value to, or it populates the value URI only. What we are looking for is, in both cases, this portion. This is when there is a query string. When it doesn't exist, this is the URI. So that's the first part. Okay. So these two map is triggered one after the other. So I guess you could say if this map is triggered, and if if this is triggered, then this variable is populated, and that triggers the sub request to the second mapping. Okay, so if the URI only variable populated by the first mapping, firstly, if it includes the if it includes the double forward slash, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. This doesn't include what's called this protocol or something like that, but I forgot. But there's a variable in nginx that refers to this, but I don't think the request URI includes this part. So you can say the first mapping has retrieved and populated this portion and this portion. Okay, so if it's saying if this URI only, its value contains something like or something like that, or even we're detecting the double forward slash. Okay, either here or anywhere. Okay, anywhere in the URI only variable. If that's the case, then set this shown if client is a baddie to 1, or here this means it's a regular expression pattern that follows, but this means it's case insensitive. It could be lowercase or uppercase, the pattern. Okay, it's looking for this HTML entity that I said resolves to the forward slash. Okay, so if saying if the value of the URI only variable contains anywhere either a 2 forward slash intersection, so sorry, if it contains double forward slash or this HTML entity, then set the value of shown if client is a baddie to 1. Otherwise, set this variable to 0. So let's revise what has been happening. Okay, we start with the first mapping. As I said, this first mapping triggers the sub request to the second mapping. Okay, so we start with this. I told you that the request URI includes the query string if it exists. Okay, and the job of the first mapping is to extract everything up to but excluding the question mark. That is the URI. Okay, so you want to populate the value of URI only variable with this. Okay, and the first condition says, starting from the beginning, capture everything up to but not including the question mark, and we can ignore the rest. Even if that matches, save it to a variable called u. Okay, and set the value of URI only to the value of the variable u. Okay, so in effect, we are populating the value of the URI only with this portion over here. Okay, and if the request URI does not include the query string, then you don't need to do anything, right? Because it's already a URI. So just pass the same value to URI only. So in either case, what you're trying to get is from the request URI, we want to extract the URI portion of it. And if that is triggered, it will trigger a sub request to the second mapping. And what it does is, if the following conditions are true, then set the value of the shown if client is a batted to 1, otherwise 0. So what are the conditions? First one is in the URI only. So I guess after the extraction, we end up with this, right? So I'll put here. This is the value of the URI only extracted from the first mapping. If there is anywhere in the string, if there is a double // or if there is a HTML entity embedded into the value of the URI only, if these two conditions, either one of them are true, then set the value of this to 1. Otherwise, set it to 0. Okay? And then how do we use this? It says the mappings, the both of them, put it inside the HTML block, but on top of or before the server blocks. Okay, that's how you use it. Okay, and sorry, I'm saying this test has to be placed after the two mappings, but before the first server block. So this variable here, it looks familiar, right? That's exactly what this mapping populates. And we've learned that it equals to 1 only if the URI only variable contains double / or this character over here. Okay, if that is the case, then return 4.3 error. Okay, so it prevents the processing of the request in this way. Okay, so it's very good. Okay, so this is saying in nginx, if you use the if loop, the if block to test the values of two variables, it says that's a bad practice. So we could use a map instead. Okay, this is really clever. I will explain to you what it does. Okay. Okay, so it's saying so it's comparing arbitrary variables, thing 1 and thing 2, and you see if they two match. Two of them match. Okay, so let me extract this. Okay, So we got this first condition. This pattern, what does it do? Sorry. So this one says it's what follows is a regex pattern. This is a start of the string. This is a first capture group. Inside the capture group, what matches is from the start of the string, everything up to and excluding this colon. And here, what does this equal to? This is the name of the capture group. Okay, which is this one, and it is used after the colon here. Okay, so what does this do? I said it's from beginning of string up to, but excluding this. Okay, so what does that equal to? It's the value of thing 1, the first variable. Okay, and as you can see, after the colon, it's referencing the name of the first capture group. So what does this equal? Okay, it equals this is not a regex, but I'm just saying it's same as like this. So what matches the first variable is copied onto after the colon. Okay, so if well, it's a bad explanation. So anyway, if the thing 1 and thing 2 they're equal, that is only if this matches. All right, that's a better explanation. So here is it's back referencing the first capture group. Okay, and this will only match if the value of the first variable matches the value of the second variable. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's quite clever. If only if that's the case, you set do things match to 1. Otherwise, it's 0. Okay. So I guess you could follow that up with something like if do things match, then I don't know, return 400 or something, like we did before. Okay. Yeah, this is the same thing. It's asking you, is the value of foo, the first variable, matches the value of bar. The same thing as here, but it will be a good opportunity to clarify. Okay, so we know that this matches everything from the beginning up to and not including this delimiter, this colon. Okay, so what does that match? It matches the value of the first variable. Okay, and you're naming this. Sorry, excluding this one. This just means start of the string. That applies to both. Well, it applies to all. Well, it applies to both. I mean, anyway, this is named 1. Okay, and we are back referencing it. So saying whatever matches. Okay, I know how to explain this. Okay, well, let me remind you, this means start of the string, this means end of the string. What this get evaluates to is like this. I hope this makes it clearer. Okay, so whatever pattern that is in this parentheses, it is a capture group, and this, since this is the first one, it is named 1, and this syntax over here just copies over the same pattern. Okay, that's the first part. And when does this happen? When does this pattern match? Only if the pattern in the second variable match. Okay, that's only if the content of the two variables match, they're equal. Okay, sorry about explaining. Let me try last time. Okay, so because this is the delimiter and two variables are separated by this colon as a delimiter, and we've said that this portion of the pattern is carried over to this side, and the content will, the pattern here will match against the second variable. Okay, and if they match, that means the value of the first and second variable are the same. Okay, and it's testing if the values of both variables are equal, and if that's the case, then set the value of this variable to 1. Otherwise, set it to 0. And here you can imagine this mapping placed inside the HTTP block, but before the first server block. And I guess it says here this one that uses the value of this populated variable. This if block is placed inside the server block. Okay, so I guess what this mapping means, if that equals if those two are equal, then set that to 1. Else set this to 0. Okay, it's the same. Okay, thank you very much.